Welcome to the channel, everyone. I will go ahead and start off with I am very biased towards Ford. Ford is in my last name, and I've had tons of Fords, love Fords through and through, but I still had Chevys, I've had Dodges, I've had Jeeps. I haven't had anything like it. Actually, no, we had a Hyundai at one point for a mom car when my wife was pregnant. We couldn't get into her Jeep Wrangler anymore, so we had to trade it in. But overall, I'm sticking with Ford. I've had the best results from Fords, but I've had basically every American manufacturer that possibility that there is. But sadly, today is the first time I've had to shoot one of these videos. Today is a video on a lot of the issues I'm having with how much these things cost these days. Yeah, it's really cool having all the tech and everything, but I'm almost to the point to where I want to get rid of all the new vehicles and just go back to something old school with less technology. Maybe it's just where I'm getting older and I realize I really don't need all the technology and all the bells and whistles, but these are great vehicles, but they come with a little bit of a price with issues. So this one right here already has 3 recalls on it, and one of them is an extremely major one. This one only has 2 and they are very minor, but there's some issues with the actual drivetrain that I found that is not a recall yet. I'll get to that here in a little bit, but just real quick while I throw in there, if you stay till the end of the video, the reason why our videos are so spread out and kind of quick content basically, trying to get on the board of a business, trying to start a business, and trying to buy a business all at the same time. But if you wait till the end of the video, I'll describe these business propositions that we're going through right now, and it's going to help this channel so much and get us back to the roots and just a whole lot more vehicle content than family/vehicle content like we used to be. So anyways, Ford Explorer, it's great. 45,000 miles on it. It's not even 2 years old yet. It is done very well overall. It's taken our beatings. It's a fun thing, intelligent all-wheel drive, sport mode, all that stuff. Quick, nimble, really cool. We bought it for traveling the country when our daughter was in gymnastics, and competitions could have been anywhere on the east side of the Mississippi. So worked out great for it. It's got the 3rd row seating. I think it's only been used 3 or 4 times. So due to all the sports activities and everything, there's not a whole lot of sleepovers like we expected with our daughter's friends, to where we'd be using the 3rd row a whole lot. So it almost got traded in because we really realized we don't need the 3rd row now that we're not traveling a ton. But everybody knows with inflation right now and all the interest rates, it's hard to trade something in right now, and the dealership's gonna rob you. So this is still here. We still love it, but there's some issues. Very simple issue that started off right off the bat. Right after we took it off the lot, we got a notification through Ford that there was a recall on a rear bolt in the rear suspension on the right side, or passenger side. And I think it was due to they didn't build it sturdy enough in R&D for, you can do full drive launches in this thing. It's got sport mode. It's quick and nimble. I mean, it's a fun soccer vehicle to have. I don't want to say soccer mom because, well, right now I'm the stay-at-home dad. So soccer dad, soccer mom car type of ordeal. But whenever we took it into Ford, they just checked the bolt, make sure it's not broke or any cracked or anything like that. If it's not an issue yet, they just leave that bolt there. And then they reprogram your ECU to where now it automatically, every single time the car goes in park, before it can roll or anything, automatically puts on your electronic emergency brake. Okay, I do that a lot on hills anyways, just to take the pressure off the transmission. But now, which is a very tedious, minute thing, but at the end of the day, you have to take off the e-brake as soon as you put it in drive, or you have to hit the gas pedal to disengage the emergency brake and then start to go. I feel like instead of doing something like that, they could just fix the part instead of reprogramming it to make it a little bit of a issue. And then I will show you here in a little bit after, or right before we jump to the F-150, some of the issues. And these both have some powertrain issues I found out driving them normally. That's not a recall yet. The reverse camera on the Explorer, every once in a while it just blues everything out. You can't see anything behind you. Granted, I grew up using mirrors, never had a camera until a couple years ago. So I'm fine with the mirrors, but when you're going to pay $60,000 for a brand new vehicle that's still under warranty, it's annoying, to say the least. Anybody that's spent this type of money, you're like, oh man, you know, this is the nicest vehicle I think I've ever bought in my life, or the nicest vehicle I've ever bought myself. I mean, you don't want to have those little issues. It comes with the technology. There's going to be issues, but whenever there's a recall for it, that means it is a big issue that's happening across the board, or they wouldn't recall it. And then the most important issue on these things right here. If you were wanting to buy one of these things and you were not buying it straight off the lot, I would honestly buy one that has over 20,000 to 25,000 miles. And here's why I say this. This 3.0 twin turbo V6, apparently there was a huge amount of duds off the assembly line, like a whole year of duds. The engine, supposedly if it makes it past 25,000 miles, it's good. It wasn't on the assembly line during their issues, but these engines are blowing. And it's a recall for if you have an engine that has an issue. So yes, it can be replaced if you bought one at 19,000 miles and it blew at 26. And they found out that was that issue. So if you do buy one of these, make sure you keep up on your 5,000 mile oil changes, because every dealership, doesn't matter who they are, they're going to try to figure out a way for you to have to pay out of pocket to fix a very expensive engine instead of them having to take it out of their pocket. That's how they make money. Profit of margin. Very simple. So that's a big issue for here. And then on to the final thing that I have noticed. Now I will go ahead and tell you straight up front. I know these things are naturally tuned from the factory on 93. And whenever you change the fuel settings, if you're running 87, which most people run, so I think it's very important to put this out there, we run 87 in these. Every once in a while, for like 3/4 tank, we'll bump some 93 in there just to help try to clear out the system a little bit. But these things have basically run full 87 since the day we bought them. And here in the past couple months, it's happened to both vehicles. 25,000 miles, 45,000 miles. But this all happened within the past month or two to both of them. This one, it almost feels like it has a misfire. Same with this one right here. I don't know how it's happening, why it's happening. It could possibly be that supposedly the timing gets messed up if you put 87 in when they're turboed vehicles and they're tuned on 93 from the manufacturer. But I've never had an issue before with any of my turboed vehicles, including Ford vehicles that were turboed. Never had an issue. And this didn't have an issue for the first 40,000 miles. So I have no idea why it's popping up now. But whenever you're just putting some load on it, you're cruising up a hill, just, you know, half throttle, give or take, it'll start jerking. You can feel the engine like misfiring or missing something. This truck is doing the exact same thing. This one is less often, but it is also doing it as well. To show y'all what I'm talking about for the reverse here, come on, you can do it. I got faith in you. Ooh, looks like my wife needs to go to the gas station. Who would have guessed I jump in the car and it's on E? All right. And this screen honestly does take quite a while to upload. It's kind of crazy. So this whole screen with the rear view camera issue is fully blued out. It only happens probably to us once, twice a week. And then if you make like a little triangle through here, down through here, then from here down to here, it's all blued out just like this screen to where you can't see anything behind you. Granted, they made these great things, so you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. But at the end of the day, when you pay $60,000 for a vehicle and you have to keep taking it in for recalls, that's the biggest issue, because this thing's already been in twice for recalls. Now we're going back for the third one. And the first one, honestly, was they ended up not having the part, so we had to go back a second time for the same recall for that rear bolt in the rear. And I can go ahead and show you real quick. So let's go ahead and move in reverse real quick. All right, stopped. So we just stopped, put it in park. See, automatically putting that brake on. Let's jump back outside and get over to the F-150. So now let's go ahead and start, since we already dived somewhat into this truck, some of the issues. This one, honestly, that little misfire, I don't know. I'm gonna take them all into Ford. A big issue I'm having right now, I've got all the recalls for these ready for service, already called Ford, and I can't get in for 3 months. That's how backed up these parts are due to there's such a massive quantity of recalls on them and people needing them fixed that has the issue. both of these are going in February. I called a month ago to get this done. So recalls on this one, really not bad. Very disgruntled about how it kind of has that little mist feel to it. It's only happened about 6 or 7 times on this, but once it happens once, it's just gonna keep happening until you find a bigger issue. So actual recalls on it. One is just these headlights. It's got a flicker in it, nothing crazy. I personally don't care. I believe it's actually in this LED that goes around it, so that really doesn't bother me too much. It doesn't affect my headlights, and I don't see it when I'm driving. One that could be an issue. Never had an issue with this whatsoever, but the recall came out a few weeks ago, I think. No, I called almost a month ago for the recall to have them both fixed, so it's probably about right at a month. The windshield wiper motors apparently go out or randomly work when they want to, or start working when they're not supposed to. So that's literally the only 2 recalls on this truck. Love this truck. I've had F250, F350 Platinums, 213s, a 17, and none of those ever had any issues. I don't know if all this happened with the COVID debacle that we had, because with any of my vehicles, even the Chevys or the Dodges, any of those I've ever had, I've never had but maybe more than 1 recall. And those were on some of my older vehicles that had been out for 10 years, and finally enough people complained about it after 10 years to where they're like, okay, we'll fix your headlight. That seems to be a common issue. And they were all very simple. These new ones, recalls left and right. And to finish off with issues before we jump into the business side of these guys, I think it's absolutely absurd. This is crazy. Any of y'all trying to buy vehicles right now will realize the same issue. This truck originally listed for $72,195, I think is what it was. This one was $58,965 or something, because I couldn't believe I was paying that much for things that aren't bigger. I'm pretty sure that's why I remember the numbers so well. I actually still have the stickers in both vehicles in the glove compartment, but haven't looked at them since we bought them though, so that was all off memory. But thought about going back up to a bigger truck. Don't necessarily need it, but it's always nice being that I'm starting to haul a whole lot more stuff, and with the business propositions that have come up, I'm probably gonna need to buy a bigger truck. But a trade-in, now these are dealerships that is not Johnson City Ford or Elizabethton Ford. Those guys will give you the best deal for a trade-in if you're bringing a Ford to them, at least. I know that much. One offered me $60,000. I was like, hey, you know, that's pretty fair, you know. But the deal couldn't work out. I just couldn't get those numbers right, because I was actually trading in for Super Duty that was a couple years older, and I couldn't justify losing some of the technology and the conveniences of a 22 versus a 20, and just be like, I'm not gonna go up in payment for that because I don't need the truck yet. This right here, somebody just offered me trade-in. Granted, 45,000 miles. I got it, but it's still within 1 year new. It's 22s, still 23 right now. They offered me $35,000, and then I showed them Kelley Blue Book. I was like, hey, this right here says it's worth up to just over $41,000. Who do you all use? It's like, oh, we use Kelley Blue Book. I was like, then why are you shorting me $6,000? I bet you just give me in the middle at 40. Then I'll take that other vehicle off your hands. They went up to 36. So it's like, you're really trying to take over $20,000 off for 45,000 miles and still within 1 year of new. And this one, most dealerships have tried to offer me, I think it's like 51, 52. So they're still taking over $20,000 off 25,000 miles, and even newer than that one. It's just crazy. That's my issue with the whole auto industry right now. Not really issues with these, but the auto industry. So anyways, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the business stuff. All right, so I'm in the process of trying to buy my dream business. I've actually got to go to the bank and double check on that stuff on Monday to see what we can do to make this ball get rolling a little quicker. It's a gym. It's going to be absolutely awesome. The degree I'm finishing as I'm being a stay-at-home dad, while the GI Bill takes care of paying for the college for me, which is really nice, is in fitness. This gym be absolutely awesome. Could still make my own hours enough to where I can worry about some other things that are on the side. Then I'm finishing my mechanics certifications to to where I can try to open up my own shop. This one will be more of a hobby business. It's gonna be like, we're gonna build a big, massive 2,000 square foot garage here on the property and take in little jobs here and there. It's not gonna be a massive business thing until I get my feet wet and I really get into it again. And then lastly, this is a big one, and you're gonna see a lot on the channel about this stuff. This really gonna bring in the whole car thing like it used to be. Yeah, open up my own shop. Yeah, I can put in a lot of car content and actually finish the 72 myself. That would be awesome. Having a garage to do that. But it's called the Invitational. It's a car thing around here. It's all like the biggest car shows, bringing in, you know, your GTRs, your R8s, all the way down to those Slam Miata pickup trucks that's basically dragging the ground. They do a limbo, things like that, have awards, kind of like the car show we did a long time ago. And then COVID hit, so we wasn't allowed to have car shows, so we stopped our car shows personally, and just haven't picked it back up. But it's called the Invitational. Trying to help them with the social media aspect of it and the business aspect of it, where my father is a business owner, and then technically our YouTube channel is considered a business. It's a sole provider business. Doesn't make any money, but I understand how the whole process works. So helping them, we're gonna start meeting every week, get the car scene around here going extremely hard, doing awesome, doing bigger things. We were taking up full dealership parking lots, or they were. I'm just now getting involved in it because some people decide they want to go a different route and not put forth the time with other family obligations. So, but my kids love cars, so whenever I go to these meetings, help with these car meets and everything, kids will be there, they'll love it, get the kids back into the car scene like we used to be. So that's why we have been so flaky on videos. It's not that we don't have things to shoot, it's just when you're trying to do 3 different businesses at one time, wife's in school while having a full-time job, because as soon as she finishes this on December 17th, it's a big chance for a massive promotion, which will really help our family out. I'm in school on top of that. Finals week's next week. We've been a little tight, and making sure the kids get all the attention in the world too, and our daughter's sporting events. So that's why I've been so flaky. It's for great reasons, and it's gonna get a whole lot better. Even though we are going into winter time, that the vehicle scene kind of is horrible during the winter time. But here it is, early December, almost mid-December. It's 56 degrees out right now. It's great. If only it wasn't raining for the past 6 days. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope this helps someone out, and I hope you all stay tuned to the very end to where you can see that we have a lot going on. But my gosh, as soon as 2024 hits, dude, we're hitting and we're gone. We're going 100 miles an hour. The only reason that we can't hit it 100 miles an hour just yet, which still have a laptop with us, phones, all that stuff to do all of our research and get all this stuff in place for January. But it is Christmas time. As soon as our semesters are done next week, we will be going to Canada at some point, before or after Christmas, don't know. And then we're going up to Illinois for a little bit to visit some family and friends. And you know, there's a lot of traveling over the next 4 or 5 weeks. Not right now, but in the next 4 or 5 weeks. But we will always have a computer with us to make sure we can get those 3 businesses up and going and make sure we get this stuff done for us and for you guys, to where we can bring you the best content possible. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Stopping by for the first time, please subscribe. You all have a great day.